found it. This is it. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry it's been so long. We've been doing a few validation runs with the Ranger Goat, and everything turned out pretty amazing. We just did a really big trip to Baja, and we're with some amazing folks, and we were given the opportunity to run at a pace you don't typically run with an expedition platform or an expedition-based truck. We, as some of you know, we run a 2009 Tacoma 4-door long bed on our stage 3 long travel suspension system. We tried something a little new on that trip, a couple different things. Some shock tuning was a big validation key I wanted to focus on, but tire size. We are running a 35-inch BF Goodrich KM3, the brand new KM3. BF Goodrich sent us a set of those the day before we left, so we got to run in a brand new set of tires on that trip, and it turned out extremely well. We are normally on a 37-inch Toyo MT. I think we might go back to the Toyo MT or on the 37-inch tire because this truck works so well on it. I haven't been recommending that to a lot of people on our builds, but I think I've got the details dialed in to where it will work pretty stellar on our stage 3 setup. But what we're doing now is a little bit of a special walk around take. We are also doing the 2010 Tundra on our stage 2 setup. This truck is going to be going home very soon in all the way back up to New Jersey. We'll be shipping it out probably within a couple weeks, and it's been a highly anticipated build. We've been working on it for quite a while. We've changed our mind on a few things, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Kind of mixing two worlds, as you guys know, the long travel, go fast type trucks, pre-runner type stuff, racing technology within the suspension components and the balance, but spring rates and functionality of an expedition platform. So a lot of our clients are working professionals that need their truck to work off of out in the field, and these things have been proving themselves very worthy. Okay guys, let's go over what we've got going on the rear end of the truck here. So this is the fairly new bumper from Expedition 1. This plate is for a set of Rotopacks fuel cans. You can put them on either side. We don't have the bracket and the Rotopacks here with us to put them on there, but both swing outs, it's a dual swing out, so they can swing out independently. And Expedition 1 worked very hard on putting their latch together. This was also on the 2017 TRD Pro 4Runner we did the walk around on, and they took the same design, same latch system, same hinge type setup, and put it on the Tundra. This is actually for the 3rd gen Tundra with the way they cut the rear bumper forward. So we can kind of show that here in a little bit. But the kind of having this open, I wanted you to be able to see how this all looks without a tire on it. So it just completely conceals it with the tire. But you can just reach down and pull your latch open and slide the swing out open, and it locks, your pin locks in there. It's really clean, and it's just really liking this design a lot. You can kind of do whatever you want to on this too, so you're not kind of confined to one way or another. Same thing with the spare. Very easy to open. Your pin just drops in and you're good to go. What we've done here also on the rear bumper, you can relocate your factory plug for your trailer brakes and wiring. Nice clean setup in there. They supply a white LED license plate light that comes on with your headlights. We're using the factory receiver hitch on this. Baja Designs Squadron Pro wide cornering. We actually use the wide cornering in the backup because your camera is still functional, so you can. It's a great throw of light in the back. Very stout 3/4 inch bow ring shackle mounts on the rear bumper on both sides. Now, one thing you will see, this is a 2010 Tundra, and those of you with a keen eye know this is not a 2010 tailgate. This is off a 2016 truck because McNeil Racing makes the fenders for the 3rd gen truck. So it's basically the back end, appearance wise, tail lights, tailgate, fenders, or bedsides of a 20 or a third gen Tundra. Looks really nice and clean, and the lines still blend into the rest of the truck. Continuing on with the back of the truck, inside the bed, we are running the deck system. This deck system's been really nice. You'll recognize that from the Chevy Colorado we did. This is the short bed, the short box Tundra, so it's got a lot of weight in here right now, a lot of older suspension parts, things like that, a set of max tracks and gear, so it just rolls nice and easy. You've got they call them ammo cans or ammo boxes. You can just lift this off and you've got access to the 4 corners that tie it down, but you can stow gear in there, straps, things like that. We are running the Front Runner Outfitters Slimline 2 roof rack or bed rack. You can use them for either one. This is designed for the bed. It ties into the track system that we put in here. This is the factory style track system that's in here. We also incorporated dual Viair compressors, the same setup that we use in most of our builds for the onboard air, and it is hidden underneath this with a remote hose that runs up and draws clean air from the inside of the truck. So the compressors are hard mounted underneath this, out of the way, so they'll never get damaged, and it plumbs to a 2.5 gallon volume tank right under the bed where the spare tire was. There's a quick connect right here with a air gauge that you can just fill all your tires up with. It's a really nice location. You don't have to worry about smashing it with anything. And it keeps the rear of the truck nice and clean and tidy, so you could throw gear bags, firewood, whatever you want to up here, and have other equipment in your drawers utilizing that space down below. So the body lines that we were talking about, I mentioned earlier with the McNeil Racing bedsides, are the way the rear bumper is shaped on the 3rd gen Tundra. The 2nd gen Tundra, the top of the bumper kind of pitches straight down, and on the newer style truck it pitches forward. So McNeil Racing makes these for the 3rd gen Tundras to where it matches all the body lines of the rear bumpers and things like that. But what is kind of neat about this is this body line right here runs all the way across, and it tapers perfectly into the door, the 2nd gen Tundra door, so that seam runs really nice across and consistent across the front of the truck. We use this because we're using very low lift heights in these trucks, and we're running a 37-inch tire here, so we want to have full articulation within the rear axle and not tear up the fender flares or, you know, be scrubbing on anything on the inside of the fender with the factory bedside. And it is also a lot stronger than the steel factory bedsides. We attested to that. We drug ours down the side of a rock and it didn't dent it. It just scratched it. We were able to just replace the vinyl and it was good to go. We also get these sent out with the fuel door. This is the factory fuel door, and you can see the attention to detail that they put into molding this correctly to fit the factory fuel door back into this. So we just put the insert in here. We take this stuff off of the factory bedside, move it over to the McNeil Racing, and then we line X the top after it's all installed. So I really like the way the McNeil stuff turns out. So talking about the roof rack that we decided to use here, keeping everything consistent with the bed rack, Front Runner makes a really clean setup now. The foot rail, the foot mounting system is designed for this truck now. It's not just a universal track the way we've done it before. It's actual foot mount for the Tundra and the Slimline 2 tray. It's the same strength as the one on the bed. It's consistent with each other, and it ties in perfectly for the rest of the truck. So for sliders, we were kind of limited at the time when we built this truck to use sliders, but I've always really liked the All-Pro Apex sliders. They were one of the first ones to design this kick out at the back end, but it works as a great step, and you can actually put a high lift jack under this slider and lift the side of the truck off the ground if you needed to. It's proven itself to be very strong. There are a lot of other companies that we work with now, such as Pelfrey and other people out there that are kind of jumping on and helping us out with the Tundra platforms with sliders and functional body armor. For skid plates on this truck, the client really liked the RCI skids. So we've got full IFS RCI skids under this Tundra. On the front bumper, the lines of the Expedition 1 front bumper always looked really nice, but after further investigation on the bumper, they've proven themselves to have incredible approach angle and very strong in a crash. We had another client actually get into a head-on collision with a Expedition 1 front bumper, and he's convinced it saved his life. Someone came into his lane and hit him, and he's convinced that that entire front end saved his life. So it's proven itself in a car accident very worthy. So it's but you can see your drum. That I'm very picky about bumpers and the functionality of these bumpers, because too many of them try to hide the winch away. And to me, a winch is a tool that you need to be able to see in order to use it effectively. So if you can't see your drum, either at night or during the day, whatever the case, then you're kind of taking it out of the fight, so to speak. Obviously, you can still use it, but if something happens on that drum, you can't stop something bad from happening until it's too late. So in this truck, we're running the come-up winch. It's the 12.5 RS, and we found that when we use a remote control box, we can actually hide that away, and we make an extension, and I can put the plug right up on top somewhere easy to get to where it can't get smashed or damaged in any way. But this winch is wireless as well, so we can run a small wireless remote, and in most cases, but this is your secondary to that, and this overrides the wireless remote. The Factor 55 equipment we use, this should be turned upside down. Hook always up, remember that, hook always up. But this is an incredible tool. It's probably 4 or 5 different tools in one. So situation dictates, you can use this in many different ways, and incredibly strong. The LP9 light is outstanding. These things are awesome. It's got a high and a low beam, so your low beam is these 3 diodes down here, and then your high beam is all of them. And on high and low, you've got your side lights that come on that are a lot brighter than you would think. So all 3 of these lights have the same functionality, but they're pointed in different directions. So the beauty of that is you can get as much, if not more, light output out of these 3 lights than you would a light bar, and you can aim them. You can put them where you can point them where you want to. So that's kind of the beauty behind these guys. It's a pretty awesome light. We're running the Squadron Sport in the bumper here is a fog light. We just hook it up to the factory fog light switch, and it's those things are great. They're small and out of the way, and you don't ever really realize that they're there until you need them. The going into the fenders on this, these are also McNeil Racing. So this is the 2nd gen Tundra. You can see some subtle differences here with the body line, but it still ties in really nice to the rest of the truck when you've got the later model bedside. This is a 4-inch flare and a much larger wheel opening. Now, we trim these sometimes. There's a little bit of fitting because all the bumpers are different, things like that. So we do a little bit of shaping sometimes in the front and in the back to fit the 37s on a low lift height. And they're incredibly strong, and they look great, and they serve their purpose really well with the width, because we are 2.5 inches wider per side on this truck with our stage 2 suspension setup. So for suspension on this truck, I've been calling it our stage 2, but these are not our suspension components. All of our suspension components in our long travel setups are designed and built by Total Chaos Fabrication. These components are built by the subject matter experts when it comes to suspension design, maintenance, durability, serviceability, and all of those things. So, I mean, it's amazing stuff. For shocks and coilovers, we run King. We run King on all of our trucks. It's proven itself time and time again, and we do not get paid by King. We don't get paid by any of the companies that we work for. We do this stuff with. We believe in these products because we've used them in the field. That's where the drivability comes in. We can afford to put less lift in these trucks and get the maximum performance out of it. There's no need to have a gigantic lift. So this truck is actually running about 2.5 to 2 3/4 inches of lift in the front. We're running 1 3/4 inches of lift in the rear with a heavy spring rate. We have 1,000 pounds above stock capacity in the rear springs, or in the rear leaf springs, and those springs are made by Alcan up in Colorado. And in the front, we are running a 600-pound coil on the King coilover. and that helps support the weight of the winch and the sliders and everything that's on the truck. With the long travel suspension that we do, we eliminate the front sway bar. Because of our heavier spring rates, it still allows the truck to travel very stable without feeling like you've got a ton of body roll and wobbliness on the road. It's extremely stable on the road, but as soon as you point it down a dirt road or in the rocks or anywhere else or in the sand, each side of the truck can work independently, and it's not transferring that energy into the cab, tossing the cab around. So that translates into you getting a better ride over a long period of time. Okay, I hope you guys were able to get something out of the walk around on this 2010 Tundra and how we're doing our stage 2 builds on the Tundra platforms. I believe you're gonna like what we've got coming up. We've got another couple more really good Tundra builds we're gonna be doing. The next video we are gonna put out is of the Ranger Goat 2009 Tacoma. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at TAVLC, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we'll be putting out a lot of new videos here, some long, some short, a lot of gear review videos, a lot of stuff that we've been using for a while now that I feel like have been doing really well for us, and I think a lot of you guys would like to see some equipment stuff. So be sure to check that out, turn on your notifications so you'll get a heads up when we got a new video coming out. We appreciate it, and hope to see you out there on the trail.